Hello, hello, hello. Am I audible? Oh, looks like me. It's broken. Ah, I forgot to unmute myself. Hello, everyone. Hmm, what have I done last time? Hmm. So yeah, I think this is going to be a continuation of like the stream I have done last time with converting a CLI tool to a compose desktop app. Let me share what the tool is. So, so yeah, like basically like I'm going to be converting this. So this is a simple CLI tool that folks from well simple use to generate BP passports. And in case you're not familiar with what a BP passport is, it's basically just a QR code to track patients and like their health information on simple servers. Hey Warren, cool. See ya. Bye bye. Have a good day. All right. Let's see. Last time I have changed the name of the class to passports generator. Hmm. Okay. So this is going to be our main class to generate those well BP passports. So this is going to create the PDF, draw the content on the PDF, and then save to the file. Like I'm not going to be refactoring these classes much. Like I'm going to leave most of the functionality of it uh, the same. I'm going to be making like slight adjustments to uh, make it work with like the Mobius framework, but apart from that, I don't think I'm going to be um, changing much. I'm going to be using this. Right, let's see. Let me switch on to presentation mode, I guess. Well, hopefully this will be visible. Uh, right, cool. Yep, I think this will be visible. Let me know like if you want me to increase it. Is there any way? Just give me a second. Okay, cool. All right. So I'm probably exit like the full screen mode. Cool. I'm going to be dropping the this particular commit. Basically, what it does is instead of like passing the UIDs that I want to generate, like for the barcode in the run function, I have moved it to the constructor parameter. But the thing is, this needs to happen like when the generate button is clicked. Like we need to know like how many QR codes we want to generate, and then we want to make the list of UIDs. So it doesn't make sense uh, for us to have it here, I guess. So I'm going to be dropping it from here, and then like have it like in the run function, and then hopefully like generate it via like pass it via side effect or figure something out at that point. But like yeah, constructor param definitely doesn't make sense. Ah, give me a moment. I need to enter password. Wherever I can clear clipboard history from here. Never mind. Cool. So let's see. All right. We have dropped that. That means something will break. Let's run our test to make sure if everything is working as expected or if something is broken. Mhm. Yep. Cool. So this is the effect handler that we are getting. So that means we have, okay, we need to edit this particular commit, right? Let's do a fix up for that. Hmm. Um, we can pass like how many UIDs we would want to generate and then verify that. but I think like that is not going to work out because why? 16 UID, we are testing it with 16 UIDs. Hmm. Okay, so that means okay, yeah. So we just have to pass, make sure that we have the exact URL. I don't want to break that test yet. So for now, we can generate the UIDs here. So let's see, where is the test for this? Cool. So this will be the test. Let's take three UIDs here. I mean, we are not going to verify, like this is purely for mocking stuff, I guess. Cool. So this is going to throw this is throwing an error. So we need to resolve this. In order to resolve this, we need a number of pages. So if we look at like how we are generating the UIDs, this is basically it takes a number of passports we want to generate and then create a random UID. Ideally, like I guess we could have abstracted it into a different generator class or something like that and provide it. But yeah, I'm not going to be doing any of that right now. I don't want to change any of the existing code because that is going to take a lot of effort and I don't want to do that. So for now, let's pass in number of passports. Uh, there is not going to be any default value. Well, how is everyone doing? If at all anyone is present in the chat, how is your weekend? Cool. So we have number of passports and now we can generate it here. So hmm, this is fine for now. But yeah, like ideally, like I don't want to do that here. I got number of passports. Wait, it's a range. Uh, yeah, I'm not a fan of this, but hmm. Why are you passing this here? Hmm. Interesting. Okay. So these are all under the these are all under as the constructor parameters. So we definitely want to change that as well. Fuck. Okay, let's go one step at a time. let's first move the UIDs to generate tool back to the run method and fix the test, and then we can move uh, these four constructor parameters as runtime parameters, I guess. Sorry, run parameters. Number of passports to generate, let's say 3. So that way we know that we have 3 UIDs as well. Hey Afshin, hello. Cool. If test failed, arguments are different, wanted, but have different arguments. Oh, okay. Ah, hmm. Any? Can we use any? Instead, use any. Hmm. So basically, the issue here is the effect handler generates like a random UID, so we cannot verify using a mock to see whether or not like it passes the same UIDs as well. Hmm. What if I make the effect pass the UIDs directly? Because we won't be needing, we won't be using number of passports anywhere else. So, hmm, what if the click event generates those UIDs and then passes it to the effect? Yeah, I think like that can definitely work. So I think like that would be probably like what I would end up like doing. Let's see. So, okay. Yeah, I think like this can work. So that way at least I don't have to generate it here. So we will read the argument, we will pass it to the event, and that event can like generate the UIDs and then trigger the effect we want. Okay, yeah, I think like that would allow us to kind of abstract away like the UID generations in future as well. Cool, that can work. So we need to change that test. Perfect. Instead of any, I said I want refactor, but yeah, I just end up refactoring. Hmm. So yeah, like basically, yeah, UIDs were generating like as um, a runtime parameter. Like we generate a class when a when we use CLI. Like to so to quickly give you an introduction, I guess. So this is a CLI tool that simple uses to generate BP passports. So whenever we run this uh, command, I guess. So we just like create a new class that generates say BP passports. So I'm just like working on converting the CLI tool to a composed desktop app, I guess. So this is what I wanted to create, like basically a desktop app that can generate it. So yeah, like previously, like it was being generated whenever that command is run, and we will basically just generate the code for like create the class and then create the UIDs and stuff like that. So yeah. So if you're not familiar with like the Java uh, apps, like Java CLI apps, like basically we are reading those arguments and then create the class and run it. That's about it. Cool. So this say we want this all to be part of the handle generate PP passports effect. So let's do that. So and before I forgot, let's do this. Cool. Perfect. So now our effect handler is only responsible for oh, sorry, now our effect handler is responsible for like creating like the passports. Okay. Hmm. Um, so one thing like we realized, like one thing I realized was these arguments are needed at runtime. So these arguments kind of change like whenever we uh, click the button. First, say like we would ideally like we maybe we would want to change like what template we are using to generate the passports, or like we would want to change how many items we want to fit in a row or a column. So ideally these should be moved to the function as well. So let's get rid of these for now. So if we remove this, we would have to change this. Okay, got it. So let's get rid of these for now. Okay, and these need to be added back to the run method. Good. Row count. mm, I guess like we can move it to a configuration object and just pass that particular configuration object. But yeah, uh, let's think about it in future, I guess. For now, we don't have to move from the main object to, I guess. Template file path string. Interesting. So output file, output directory. Yeah, this is passed as file first. Okay, so this can work. Uh, um, so out directory. Okay, cool. So I think like this fixes the issues. Okay. Now we just need to change the app to pass these values. Ah, row count, row count, column count. Just like I had everything set up like before, like that way, like I can just like jump in and like convert this to compose. Maybe that would have been interesting, but yeah, this is still good. At least like now we are refactoring code. All right, so that means we were like for all the files that have been changed, we would want to make sure that like there are no errors. So we would need to fix effect handler, passport generator, all of those things. Ideally, like this should have been done before like we created the actual effect. But hey, for now this works, I guess. Maybe this can be file as well. I don't know. This be file. This can be file as well. Like, okay. All right. So we don't have to touch that now. Like, this is not affecting anything. So for our effect handler, let's see. So basically, this is all side effects. This is where our side effects run. All right. So let's go template file path, output directory effect path, output directory path to file. And I just say file. No, there is no extension. Okay. Ideally, like this should be, these both should be file and we can directly pass it. Uh, we can refactor at the end. So we can refactor at the end for sure. Cool. Welcome everyone to whoever has joined recently, I guess. Count to, let's say, column count to, this is all uh, just to identify like whatever I have given here. Basically, that's about it. So it is fine. Okay. So this is one of the tests. Let's try to run it. Okay, yeah, the older class fails. So we just need to, hmm, okay, these are not used in the, where is output directory? Okay, for now, let's pass these values, I guess. Column count, file path, resource file path, and dot PDF. Good. All right. So now, okay, so verified test page doesn't need these values anymore. So we can remove them. Although, like, one thing I need to figure out is hmm, how can we get this output directory path to our run function? Okay, so this is basically a test class that we can expose, I guess. So like this, can I just call it here? Hopefully that works. Hmm. Okay, yeah, that works. That way, like our output directory can get deleted as well, like once everything is done. So let's verify. Hopefully, it doesn't break everything. Hi Chandru. Sorry, hi Chandru. Yeah, it is Kotlin. So yeah, like it's not PHP or Java, like it's Kotlin that we are using. Uh, all the tests pass, so that's good. Hmm. So in this, we basically moved all of our runtime commands to the from the constructor arguments to run. Yeah. So Kotlin has, Kotlin supports multi-platform, so we can anyway build Kotlin multi-platform applications. But JetBrains has recently released something called Compose multi-platform. So basically, that allows us to build desktop apps as well as websites using Android Jetpack Compose. It's a technology, I guess, like that is developed by Google. So we basically have the declarative UI and state management, like all of those things, like packed in a Compose framework, I guess. So yeah, so we can build those. So that's the plan. That's what I'm trying to build. Maybe you can find it interesting, I guess. So let me just share the link to it. Good. So you can take a look at it and use it, I guess. Okay, interesting. Cool. All right. So let's see. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Okay. Um. Okay. Yep. This is good. Okay. What's next? What do we have? So our effect handler can now successfully generate um, passports. So that is good. Um we're also handling and the generated type is changed. So okay, we are looking at like the state. All right. So if we look at the state, whenever this is one particular state, like whenever the button changes and we want to update whenever the template changes, three output directory changes, number of passports, four pages is no longer required. So rows and columns 5 and 6. So we have 5 items. Yeah, like Kraken is free, although like it has limited features when it is free. Like you can only work on public repos and like there are few restrictions. And where are you working in India? Like yeah, I'm currently in Andhra Pradesh. So yeah, cool. So yeah, like our state model should contain like all of those elements. Like we already have the generator tab, which takes care of whether it's a sticker. Oh, where are you working in India? So yeah, I'm currently working in a design and engineering studio called Obvious. So yeah, I'm a product engineer there, and I lead simple engineering team. And if you are interested, Obvious is hiring as well. So yeah, you can go to obvious.in/careers if you are interested. All right. So yeah, we are like, where was I? Okay, yeah. Yeah. we already have the generated type as the state in our state model. So uh, we need to add like the other aspects, like whenever the template file changes, we want to update the state to reflect that and then render it. You use C sharp. You're from Hyderabad. Cool, nice. Yeah, like basically, Obvious is a design and engineering consultancy, and we have worked with like uh, few startups as well as companies, I guess. So yeah, things like Swiggy, Myntra, Dunzo, Flipkart, and Gojek. Like, so we have worked with like quite a few well-known startups, I guess. So yeah, yeah. Website is really nice. Right. So the effect handler part is done. Like the only side effect we have is like whenever this is generated, we would want to, well, generate the passports. Now let's look at the state. So we already have whenever the generated type is changed, which is like these two buttons, whenever the user switches from like the BP passport or a sticker, we want to update the model. So that is done. And as for the next thing, let's see. Okay, yeah. So whenever the template file path is selected, so whenever user clicks on the open button and then, oh, okay, we also have the open buttons to handle. Those will be side effects. Yeah, those can be side effects, I guess. Although like I'm wondering like how that would work with like compose thing, but let's figure it out. We might not want to include that as part of our state flow because like compose framework like how can we open this, like it is not a navigation or anything like that, so let's leave it for the end. Let's for now like pick the template file. All right, bye Afshin, have a good day. It's back, cool. Let's see. So whenever we have the default model or whatever the model is, then uh, template file selected. So whenever we receive template file selected, then it can contain like the template file path. I would probably end up like uh, converting it to file type like later on, but for now, since our effect is anyway like using strings, let's use strings for now, and we can refactor at the end, I guess. Then I said that next. Okay, I think I must yeah. Thanks. For now, this is fine. Hmm. The generator type is changed. Okay, we would want to do a fix up here. have our model changes as model default model dot template files selected, and we would want to update it there to render it on our text field. Cool. So like that's how it should go. And ultimately, like it would have no effects. Oh, sorry, I got distracted a bit. Cool. So basically, like now we have the new event. Let's use that. So this will be our template file selected event. Um, okay. Cool. So now let's add our template file part to the model as well. So in order to copy, like we first need it in the model itself. So whenever we receive the new template file path, we just simply place it here. Okay, yeah, this looks good. All right, so of course, like it fails because like we're currently not handling it in our update function. So that is expected. Mhm. Template file selected, even for template file path. Okay, cool. So let's run the test and see if this works. Perfect. Okay, so that handles like the template, now the output directory. Similar to what we have, let's say output directory. Um, okay, yeah. So similar to what we have done with the template file selected, we can just say output directory selected. Okay. And it will pass the output directory path, and it has also So basically, like I think I forgot to explain like this test. So basically, like these are our uh, event tests that we are writing. So we are basically making sure that like whenever a certain action is done, like in the from our update function, which is our event handler, let's say, we are making sure that like whenever that action is done, like this is the state it expects to be in, and there are no side effects, no side effects trigger or anything like that. So that's what these tests kind of reflect. So we're basically saying like given this uh, s- initial state and this event trigger, make sure that like our state is also updated and then there are no side effects triggered, for example, things like that. Cool. So let's update our event classes. And again, like again, it requires say we need to update the model to have these values. Wait, did I commit before? Yep, I committed. Okay, so we have our output directory and we have this. Now, obviously, like if we run this, like it should throw an error. Let's run our tests. Cool. Test passed. So yeah, like whenever these actions happen, like they don't trigger any stay like side effects, right? Like for example, like whenever we have selected a template file or an output directory, we basically want to uh, update the state in a way that like it renders that content. So it renders like what the path is, and it renders uh, what the file path is, or it renders what the output directory path is. So they don't trigger a side effect. So it's just like state changes. Mm. So number of passports, so how many we would want to generate, number of rows, number of columns. So let's get them. So like right now we are using default model like for everything, mainly because uh, the individual states, for example, like these individual items like don't depend on each other, right? For example, uh, entering like number of passports you would want to generate doesn't depend on like say like they have to select a template file or an output directory, things like those, right? So we can like go ahead and use a singular default model for this, but if one of those states depend on each other, then we can update the model here, like saying template file selected model, and just pass in the template file path or something like that, and use that model as our initial initial state. So we can definitely do that as well. Hmm. So it can be to just say some random value. It takes an int form as model. Let's just add this here. Should I make it 0? 0 by default. Okay, this has to be more than 0. Like we cannot have 0 to like we cannot just have is generate 0 passports. So okay, we can leave it as null to begin with. And whenever it is null or less than 0, okay. So whenever it is null, we show the placeholder text, I guess. So whenever user enters a 0, we immediately show that 0 is not a valid value and they need to enter greater than or equal to, so greater than 0. So that is definitely good, I guess. So yeah, okay, this can work. Right, let's commit our model changes. Model dot number of passports changed and hmm, okay. So since it's declarative, like the compose text fields require us to update the text by ourselves. So it won't cause any cyclic issues, I guess. So I think it should be fine. But yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, I think like this can work. Like previously, the imperative way of doing this is like just each individual text field and all of those things have their own state, and whenever we click generate, that's when we kind of like get those values. So this is definitely not that. This is definitely a functional way of doing, I guess. So cool. So let's comment these changes. I'm showing everything. Cool. Okay. Cool. So then create one model. Since we have a lot of text fields, like this is going to be the common theme. Whenever this changes, then update this. We will eventually get to the compose part, hopefully soon. As model, default model dot row count change, and as no effects. Similarly, with number of passports, like how we used int as nullable, we are going to do that as well, because that the null is going to be our initial state to drive with. A null or an empty, like I mean, there won't be any empty. So yeah, let's see how this goes. Mm, okay, so yeah, slowly getting there. Now it's just columns, and then yeah, I think like that's about it. Like once the column is done, we can go ahead and start writing the compose code. And I mean, this button is also a state. Like whenever the generate button is clicked, then we would want to uh, basically start like the generation process. So we also need to handle that. Cool. Hmm. All right. So and basically like this is similar to like the row count thing. We just need to update the column instead of a row. Now once this is done, whenever the generate button is clicked, we would want to uh, trigger our side effect that we have worked on. So yeah, I think like that sounds good. compound change has no effects. Hmm. I'm wondering like maybe these values should have been nullable as well. I don't remember like what the compose text fields kind of passes down like whenever we have removed like the entire string, especially if it is a number input string, sorry, number input um, text field. Um, maybe it could have been nullable as well, but for now, yeah, like for now, I think like it is fine. Um, Cool. So of course this will fail and we need to go back to our update test class. Okay, yeah, this looks good. So this should makes the test pass. It's running. And finally, then generate button. Generate, yep, passports. Cool. So here, like we're going to update our model, I guess. So let's just call it model. Default model dot generator type changed. Generator type dot passport, I guess. So next template file directory. Call it template.pdf. Output selected. Output number of passports changed. 10 passports. Row count changed to. So basically, in order to generate a passports, we require all of these things. So these are the elements that we are seeing in the UI. Okay. So now we can just use this particular model to generate the sorry, to trigger the side effect. Let's just call it generate passports click. Since all of the required data is inside the model itself, like uh, we can just like use that and instead of passing it through the event and all of those things. As now let's just say like it has whenever the generate button is clicked, let's just say it doesn't have any state, like it doesn't change the UI. But ideally, like whenever the generator button is clicked, like we would want to disable like clicking on any of these actions and then um, showing the progress bar or something like that, right? So we can get to that like later on. For now, let for for the current requirements, we can just like trigger the side effect, I guess. So template file path, which is template.pdf, output directory path, which is output, row count, ah, yikes. Does it matter? Okay, so row count, column count. So this is where the problem is. So we have so we have to generate this UID somewhere. If we are generating it in the in the update function, which is supposed to be a pure function, like I mean, it doesn't produce the same results over and over again. So it will make it impure, of course. So we cannot directly generate it here. So what we can do instead is whenever the button is first clicked, we can first generate UIDs from an like from a side effect, right? And then loop back it to generating. Okay, yeah, loop back it to generating the like triggering the side effect. That can work, I guess. It is the most roundabout way, but yeah, like this is good to follow, I guess. So whenever the generate button is clicked, they generate the UIDs. Maybe we would still require this particular model. Sorry. We would definitely need to show progress states and all of those things. But yeah, for now, let's keep it as simple as possible. Okay, so in order to do this, we would need an effect first. Let's just reset this. And generate UID effect is received, then generate the UIDs. Hmm. Yeah, I think like this can work. Okay, let's see. Effect handler test case dot dispatch generate UIDs and how many you would want to generate? Number of IDs. Cool. Okay, so this will generate our UID. So now we can verify. the- What do I even verify for the UID dot random? Ah, that's why I wish I had a different class or something like that. But I even hmm, how do we verify like how do we verify like what's happening? We can verify outgoing events, I guess. But let's just call it generate IDs. So here we can have UIDs, I guess. Yeah, this is Mobius. So for our desktop app, we are going to be using Mobius framework for managing our state. So yeah, uh, this can work, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Um, I'm still not verifying anything here. So what can I do? Can I mock the UI? I cannot do that. We can try and expose a UID generator, but then we would have to create a class and then write all of that code and provide the test framework, testing things. So hmm, instead do this. Can I get away with this? No. Ah, I cannot. Yeah, I thought like maybe I can just mock the UID class and call the static function directly, but how can I do this? Is there whenever condition? No. Ah, oh, I really hope like I don't have to end up creating different things, I guess. Anyone got any ideas on how I can do this? Okay, this seems promising. Mock static. Interesting. Let's try this. ID name. I'm using IntelliJ IDEA for this. So You can find it here, sorry, at com. So I'm using this one. Why can't I paste? Good. So let's see if Mockito static can. Wait, if that is the case, can I get away with generating the UIDs directly in the effect handler again? Can I do that? Let's try that. Let's try that instead of this. Okay. So for now, let's try and mock the UID thing. UID mock the mock static. Is there a Kotlin way of doing this? I'm gonna just use mock static instead. Or is it okay? So now I can set up UID uh, random. Mhm. And when okay, I think I'm doing it completely wrong. Okay, mock static. Not this. Okay. Mhm. Okay, whenever that calls, then return. Okay. And random UID, then but you. Mhm. Okay. So that will return a UID if I understood it correctly. So that is not going to work as well because we are using a list of UIDs, so we cannot just expose like a single random UID and expect it to work. there a mock static somewhere? Okay, looks like it is in present. Okay, I think like it's better to like just have a class for this. Like I cannot think of any other. So like, ah, okay, yeah, I cannot think of any other solution at the moment. So for now, like we are going to take the dumbest possible approach. Ah, yeah, oh my God, this is annoying. This is really, really annoying. So we cannot move forward like if I understood it correctly. So even this test, like we want to verify like the event that is generated at the end. So we cannot move forward until like we um, pass that event parameters, I guess. So take a look at like the passport generator ones. Oh no, the effect handler. Okay. So we expect the update function to generate these UIDs for us. So irrespective of what the update function, like the sorry, what the event generates, like we would have to pass the uh, those UIDs to update function and then pass it to the actual generation effect. If we did generate it here, right? Then that would mean like we would have to handle like all of those UID creation, and then even then like we would have to verify it. Okay, so irrespective of like what option we choose, it is the same issue. We would have to figure out like an approach to generate the UIDs and verify it. Okay, let's just try this once and see what errors it throws. Like I know like what errors it's going to throw, but yeah, let's see. So we cannot have a whenever, that is for sure. I'm guessing like this is what they expect us to do. Uh, we can, for the sake of test, we can go with like a single UID and just use that, right? So that would make tests easier. Why? Ah, okay. It's like I have to use Mokito dot mock static and then UID test dot when UID. Does this work? Then return UID. So we are basically saying like if this happens, okay. I think like this can work. Uh, let's see. Okay, obviously we need to fix this. Yeah, we are going to generate this like right away, so it is fine. So the effect handler test is going to fail, and then we have to handle the effect and like generate the UIDs and all of those things. So that means okay, honestly, like I think like this can be merged into this particular effect, so we can refactor it actually, I guess. So, but yeah, let's just try it out and then refactor it, I guess. We need a scheduler as well for this. So, hmm, we have a scheduler as of yet. Oh my god, please tell me I don't have to create it. Can I just use this or can I? Yeah, I think like this works. Cool. Oh wait, this is not schedulers. We need multiple schedulers, like whether it might be IO, competition, or anything like that. Query, thanks for subscribing. Sorry, thanks for following, not subscribing. Okay, so we would actually have to create a schedulers as well for this. So we can ignore that as well. The amount of things I have to ignore keeps on growing. I'm just pushing it until later. Okay. So effect dot number of IDs dot map. This is just so dumb. This is just dumb, like, but yeah, like this works, I guess. Oh, okay. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. And oh, okay. I've been using range. I think like that is the issue. Yep. I think like this should fix the issue. Cool. So this works, but we ended up creating a separate ID for this. So a separate effect for this. So maybe we can just like refactor the existing things to uh, existing side effect to handle this as well. Let's just discard these changes. Cool. So if we want to do this, we would want to test with one UID because we can only mock one at this point. But yeah, like definitely if you have a separate class and like then we can mock the entire class into all of those things. We can try and do the for loop and like try to actually use the list, but yeah, it is not worth it. So UID is to generate. Okay, this looks good. Um, does it though? No. Good. All right. So basically, let's see. Instead of receiving this, we would want to change it to again an int. Think we are following TDD and smaller commits and smaller changes. So that way we can just remove it and don't worry about it at all. Okay, so this is what we have. Whenever, oh sorry, we have to mock. Okay, that's a lot of UIDs. Hmm. All right, so yeah, I think like this can work. It will like not a perfect for, but hey, it works. So this is fine. Let's test it out. Of course, it didn't pass. Then return may be missing. What do you mean then return may be missing? I have the then return. Yeah, it is there. This instead. Of course, I cannot do this. Whenever UID mock, then return okay. I can understand what's happening. Okay, so yeah. So basically what's happening was previously I was passing the UID here, but by that time it was already mocked and we were not providing anything for the mocked value. So yeah, like first we have to construct the actual UID and then like mock the UID class and then return the generated UID when the random UID method is called. Oh my god, yeah, this is this won't be confusing at all for like whoever looks at it. When mainly generate those effect. Cool. So now we can get back to the whole thing. Okay. this is going to be an event, and then uh, we basically check whether the effect is triggered or not. Template file path, template.pdf, output directory path, output, number of passports, 10, row count to column count. Okay, so hopefully this will work. Yep, this is expected. Since we know by this time, like every one of these values will be available and not empty, then we can, with confidence, try to unwrap them like using uh, bang, cooperate with bang. Is it bang? Double bang? Yeah. Hmm. Cool. Uh, yep, I think like this looks good. Let's call it generate passports button click instead. Generate passports click. It doesn't really sound good. Even if I reset okay, for now, like we can ignore it, like that's not important. So I will make one small change and then we can wrap this up today's stream for now, I guess. So yeah, I'll probably just end up like providing a scheduler and then we can wrap up the stream. So basically, like the scheduler will be providing like which thread our uh, side effect should run on. So I think like that's one small change I'm going to make. So let's output generator. Okay, I think I can directly make this one. So it has to be a we need a production scheduler and a test scheduler as well. The test scheduler will use a trampoline scheduler. So basically, like it will run on the same thread that our tests and everything are running in. So I think like that is the goal here. Call this. Let's create a scheduler package. So because like we would want to scheduleless provider, yeah. So because we would want to uh, have test scheduler and a production scheduler. Let's call it schedulers provider as and use a interface because we would want to export like have two different implementations of it. Okay, computation, although we are not going to use it that much. Main, yep, good. So let's just create our real schedulers provider here itself. Schedulers dot computation. Is there even a main, like, do we even need main scheduler? I mean, this is a desktop app. Like, do I need main scheduler here? I don't think so. Uh, let's just Google it real quick. I don't think I would need it. What is single? It's the thread with single schedule. Default is thread non-priority. Okay. Okay. I think like just I want computation is enough for now. All right. Now let's create a test class for this. To be honest, I don't think like we would even need a computation one, but yeah, like I'm just being careful, I guess. Okay, let's commit these changes. And, we are currently using it in tests only, so ah, let's just provide it there. Okay, cool. So this would ensure we can have schedulers provider in the effect handler, and then we can run it on the IO thread, like the generation aspect of it. For just to be sure, let's just run all that entire test suite and verify before we close it for the day. Cool. Looks like all the tests pass and cool. So yeah, I think like this is a good place to kind of stop. So to recap, like what we have done so far, we basically wanted to convert a CLI tool to compose desktop app, and for that we have set up our state management solution using Spotify Mobius, and we basically set up like our side effect handler and our event handler and our state object. So let's take a look at those, I guess. So we have our state object which contains what generate like what passport generation type we want to have, and the template file path, output directory path, number of passports we would want to generate, row count, column count. And we have our event handler, which is our update functions, which is pure function. And we have our side effect handler, which generates our PP passports. So yeah, I think like that is our basis, I guess, for future streams where we build on top of it to actually have a compose UI build our compose UI on top of this, and then try to hook these things up together. Yeah, I think like that's what we have for next stream. Let's see when that would be. Okay. Thanks everyone for who has joined the stream, and feel free to follow the channel if you want to get notifications, and uh, if you are interested in future streams, I guess. So yeah, I think like that's it for today. See you.